All right, all right, all right, all right. All right, here we go. Ah, ah ha ha, ah ha ha.
What are you waiting for? Power up!
Okay, are you ready now? Y'all ready?
We've been ready. You the one who's holding us
Alright,
up.
alright, alright, alright. Alright, what up, YouTube? It's your boy Zay. Here with a couple people. My boy D'Angelo
What's good with it?
and my boy Jermaine.
Yo, yo.
So we're here today doing our first discussion video. Here doing our first discussion video.
Are you good?
Yeah.
Start laughing first.
Man,
Good, man.
we're gonna be discussing the Apex changes. You know, season 3. You know, I've been playing since season 2, and these bums have been playing since day 1. You know, and yet they still haven't hit Predator. So that's that's the background of everyone here who is going over changes and just gonna listen to our opinions. You know, so we're gonna go back and forth. We're gonna talk about first our likes, secondly our dislikes, and then finally our proposed changes to the game. So I guess let's kick it off. I don't know if one of y'all wants to start off here. Unless y'all want me to start, I can start too.
Yeah, you go ahead. You seem more organized with it. You got a whole list, laundry list.
All right, so we're gonna break it into a few subcategories for likes and dislikes. So it's gonna be map changes first, weapons and attachments / armor changes, and then character changes. So for map changes, personally, and y'all feel free to jump in if y'all want to. Like, we don't have to do this one by one.
Alright.
Cause we trying to get this done in 30 minutes here. So it's 5:20. We 5:21 now, so we got 29 minutes. All right. So first thing I like about the map is the color. That's the first thing that pops out at me. I disliked the just the kind of the one color, one tone almost throughout the original map. That was boring to me. I mean the map terrain, the map design itself wasn't bad. That's my second point. I enjoyed the first map, but I also personally do enjoy the second map. I know D'Angelo, if you want to chime in, you had some issues warming up to the map a bit, so I don't know if you want to talk about that a bit.
So, alright. How y'all doing? Look, my opinion on the map is like, I agree. The second map is colorful. I do like the more colors, the variety of colors. I don't have no.
We're all colored, yeah. I feel you.
I mess with it. The
Demonetized.
old map itself- yeah, the old map itself, I don't know. I just enjoyed the fact that I guess I could say everything was like more simplified, if that makes sense. It's
Yeah.
like you knew where certain things were, you knew what certain places were, you know where like the good landing spots were, where the bad landing spots were. It was like more simplified and dumbed down, like necessarily. The new map itself, I've played on it quite a few times. My first initial thought was I hated it. I ain't gonna even lie, I didn't like it at first, but as time goes on, I'm starting to get a little bit used to it, and I don't dislike it as much as I
Bro,
did.
your cup is huge, bro.
I'm thirsty.
I don't dislike the new map as bad as I did before. It's like the new map, it shows promise. Like, I like the train. The train we had a lot of fun with as a group. The key stuff. Like, I think the key thing is a good idea. Like, if you find the key, you can get better armor and stuff, because some people never really get like
Right.
gold armor. So I think that's a good concept. You know, and the one thing I don't really like about the new map is how much open space it is, considering like all the stuff that can go down in open spaces, like third party. I feel like third party is more of a can happen more in a
Right.
sense on the new map, since it's more open. But you know, like I said, I just like the new map. I mean, the old map better because I feel like it was more simpler. I knew what things were. We knew where the spots were, and we knew how to handle some spots where, you know, when some scummy with, you know, bone,
Oh,
mount,
you mean the bone? You mean at the top of Thunderdome? But yeah, I'm gonna agree with you. The new map looks way better. The old map was so boring, like the desert aesthetic. It can look good, but it was so dreary looking. All of the buildings have the same sort of aesthetic. The new map has a lot more going on with the ice and the lava. It's a lot more colorful, a lot more green. There's a lot more areas with lots of different buildings. The new city areas are cool. The train, all of that, the caves. There's a lot more incorporated into it, and every area has its own. It looks better. It just
Right.
looks better.
Right.
Way better, and that's one thing I like about the map. Though,
Well,
what I
and
don't like about
and I was gonna say real quick. Well, and let's hold off on dislikes until we get to that. Right? I was gonna say real quick, D'Angelo, to your comment about points of interest, like Skull Town, Bone, that type of thing. I think part of that, part of the whole thing about a new map is like you have to get used to it, right? And so over time, people learn, kind of where to go and where not to go and that type of thing. So I think over time, like, yes, it is uncomfortable. At least for me, it was very uncomfortable trying to figure out where to go and whatnot. But I think over time, that's just something you kind of grow accustomed to, and you just learn that about the map. So that was my only comment about it. But did you have anything else you wanted to add, Jermaine?
another thing I like about the map is the verticality of the map seems a lot more. The verticality seems like it's a lot easier to deal with in this map. Like,
Oh yeah, definitely.
I feel like if there's someone above you, and on the new map, you have a lot better of a shot than you did in the old map, where people could just camp the bone or camp the mountains, or I feel like on this map you definitely have like a lot. Like the verticality, there are like slopes and inclines, and there's the tracks that are elevated, but like it's a lot easier to handle that on this map. So I definitely like how they handled the verticality.
Yeah.
Again, the open space, I'm actually okay with the more open space. I kind of like it. It's grown on me.
Well,
Yes.
and I think going into the second part, which is weapons, attachments, and armor, I think that's where the whole like weapon changes and stuff really plays a big part of like how comfortable one may or may not feel with with the more open space, right? And so like with the different attachments, like I tried the flatline bro yesterday with that was it the anvil or whatever it is. Man, that thing was popping, bro. Like we're talking about like take a wingman, right? And like just put a scope on it with like less recoil. Like a 2-time scope on it with less recoil. It's hitting just as hard body wise, like 45-50 damage, and then like headshot wise, the headshot of the wingman still hits harder, hits like 95, I think. But with the wingman, with the flatline, you're hitting close to 80-85. So the flatline is stupid strong in my opinion, with the hop up in particular. That's one thing I liked. The shotgun pellets, that's kind of a hit or miss, I think, to some degree. I like it, but then I don't, because I still feel like it's a little bit too inconsistent, but more consistent than what it used to be. The R99 ammo and recoil thing, I like too. There really isn't a huge difference as far as the ammo clips. There's like a few bullets, the further and further you get as far as the tier level of clip, but the recoil I think is welcome. I think that weapon was or still is very strong, but the added recoil adds just a little bit more skill curve to using that weapon. So that's my take on. And then armor, quick for me, I like the changes to and I know D'Angelo had an issue with this too, with the gold armor and gold backpack changes. I personally love, I feel like gold armor is more prevalent or more often picked up than a gold backpack is right now, at least from my experience. And I like the fact that you heal faster with that. I think that was a much needed perk for something like that to make the armor more useful. Although they could have kept it in the backpack, sure, and just switched the traits around. But I do love the new trait the backpack has. That is amazing when you have a lifeline or someone who has it. Like that makes that character so much better if they can get it. So any thoughts from y'all about anything else or even what I just mentioned?
My only thing about the gold backpack and the whole switch with that is I don't have no issue with it. It's like I'm fine with it.
No, come on, tell him. You was ranting about it the other day.
My whole thing is just after you play on when you get used to something and you play on it and you know what it does for we could say about 2 seasons, season 0, season 1. So It's about 2 full seasons of knowing that the gold backpack lets you heal and shield up faster. It's like if you take that and you've been doing that for so long, and then they just say, you know what, we're gonna switch that and put it on the gold armor. It's not no issue with it. It's just the fact that why did you change it?
It is a little bit jarring for me.
Yeah, it's
he said 2 seasons, but we played season 0, season 1, and season 2, and it did the same thing. So having it swap to the gold armor is kind of it is gonna be harder to get used to, but. Mm-hmm. I do like the new effect also.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, I ain't saying I don't dislike it. I'm just saying like the whole just switching it all
Yeah.
together. It's kind of confusing at first,
Yeah.
but I think you get used to it. I mean, it's perfectly
I
fine.
I I think that the big reason, or at least from what my assumption is why they did it is because they want to make gold armor just a much better pick, or a worthwhile pick over purple armor. Like otherwise, if you throw the passive from the backpack onto the gold armor, like no one's gonna care about that. Like D'Angelo said, like how often are you actually gonna res somebody, use and actually take or use that passive, effectively, right? Like that to me I would just say forget gold and go and still stick with purple. There's no point in switching. But I think that, again, based on how much I played and just seeing how much more often you pick up gold armor, I think that it is much better for them to make that switch over to the gold armor than to keep it on the backpack. But that's me.
Yeah, going to the also to speak on the weapon changes.
Yeah.
I did finally get to use a flatline with the anvil, and it was hidden. I can't really see, like, I mean, I guess at close range the wingman is still going to be better with the strafe speed.
Yeah, for sure.
And just the
And
headshots are
fire
still
rate,
gonna
I
do
feel like
more,
it's,
but
yeah.
man, I as a guy who's been using wingman throughout all the nerfs, and also I've hated the flatline this whole time. I gotta say, it's like the flatline without the anvil. It's barely a real gun,
Bro,
like,
with the
when you put
anvil,
that
it's
hop up on
bonkers,
it,
bro.
oh my
It's
goodness,
bonkers.
it's like a whole new world, man. And I think the
A
301,
whole new
the 301
world.
is nuts too, because the 301 is real. Like the anvil, it also makes the 301 good, but like the thing about it is, if you have a flatline, you're gonna use it mostly in single fire. But the 301, you can switch back and forth, and
Mm-hmm.
you can do a lot of work with that.
Right,
So I
it's
think that
very
hop-up
versatile. Yeah.
is nuts.
Yeah.
The weapon changes. I like that they buffed the scout. I think it was good already, but I like that they buffed the scout. I really like the scout now. The shotgun pellet consistency, I straight up don't notice it, man. Like, my shotgun still hits people for 14, and then other times it hits like 150, and I'm like, wow, you couldn't do that last game. But other than that, the longbow changes. I didn't like that they nerfed the longbow. I would have liked to see the longbow stay.
We waiting on the dislikes, bro. We waiting on the dislikes. Anything else,
The
D'Angelo?
R99 nerfs.
Oh, okay, go
definitely.
ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah. R99 nerfs. I'm glad they nerfed. I still feel it's a crazy good gun too, but I like that change too.
Okay.
And yeah.
Okay.
the double tap hop up for the Eva 8, I think that's pretty good. It definitely helps that shotgun more. It can probably be up there with like the Peacekeeper, and like it. I don't know. I guess I always like the Eva 8 more as a shotgun than the Peacekeeper.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I just like the fact that I can just fire it, and plus the double tap, you can fire it quicker. So I just like that aspect.
The double tap is nice. The Peacekeeper for me definitely hits more consistently, like as far as just harder. Like that weapon is stupid to me.
Yeah. I can definitely deal with it hitting for 14 9 times out of 10. If on that 10th time it hits somebody for 150, and I'm like, thank you.
I know, right? Right.
We didn't even say anything about the new gun, the charge rifle. What about that?
Well, I mean, I have that in my dislikes, but that's yeah.
I'll say this about the charge rifle. I've used it. I haven't used it a lot, but from what how much I've used it, I want to say it's an okay gun. It's like with the gun itself, it's like as you like hold your reticle on top of somebody and you charge it up, it does damage. But I don't know. I just feel like for a sniper gun like that, it doesn't do as much damage as you would think. It's like the charge rifle, I think, has potential. They just haven't found like, you feel me, like they haven't found like the for it to make it like a good gun.
Hold on, Jermaine. Hold on, because we running late here. All right, so we gonna get back to the charge rifle. All right, so hold that. So real quick, because we already 4 minutes over. We have 16 minutes left. So real quick, character changes. I like the nerf on Robot. I enjoy Crypto. I don't think he's an overpowered character. At the same time, he's a very interesting character and has actually interesting interaction with the Robot. Real quick, what do you guys think about character changes. As far as likes, what do you guys think about likes? Real quick, go. 30 seconds, go.
Definitely like the robots nerfs. Yeah, I just like the robot nerfs. I like the bloodhound buffs too. I like that they made his stuff quicker. Those are the changes that I like about the characters.
Okay, D'Angelo.
Yeah, I pretty much agree. The robot definitely needed a nerf. Bloodhound not having that long ass wind up time to scan.
Demonetized.
Yeah.
Try so hard.
All right. Dislikes. All right. So my dislike with the map here. We got 5 minutes to go through dislikes, roughly. So dislikes. The thing I don't like about the map is that it's actually too big. Like as far as it's too big for the same amount of people that they are carrying over from the previous map. I feel like you are less likely to obviously find people, and so therefore the game can be slower, much slower actually. And actually it seems sometimes like a running simulator because you're trying to find people instead of just kind of naturally running into people, which I feel like was so much more a thing in the last map. And then I think item drops. I think item drops need to be slightly reworked a little bit. I feel like the quality of weapons you find on the initial drop aren't really that good unless you go to like one of the like well-known spots. I don't know. I know that in the previous map you had your spots which had, you know, good weapons typically, but I feel like overall the weapon spread as far as the tier quality is very kind of the same level across the board, like very linear across the board, and it's very average. I mean, sure, you get some good armor here and there, but I don't know. I don't really feel like there's that one. Very, very rarely do I ever go, wow, I got a good drop. Like even on the train, I feel like the train should be something that gives you more. Like either it's faster, like to get around the map, or better quality drops. Like I don't know. I feel like that needs some work too. So thoughts.
You want to go?
There you go.
So the map itself, I mean the drops. I'll go back to that. I believe they said they kind of like spread out the drops. I mean, like the items more, which I would be okay with if the whole upgrading the size of the map. I just don't understand why, considering like the map previously was smaller. I feel like in a battle royale game, especially for people who want to play aggressive, a little map is better. Like I think the old map itself was perfect. You heard shots. It was either at the market, Skull Town. You knew exactly what people were. So
right.
You can just get to them. Right. I feel like in a new map, you can go about 6 to 7 minutes without hearing a shot because it's so spread out and so open. Mm-hmm. It's like people don't really like get into fights. And when it is a fight, it'll be like 2 squads sniping at each other. 1 squad from Bufu, Egypt, sniping at these 2 squads, and then you just running in. So I just feel like it's not like a lot of it's a lot more passive. I say that it's a lot more passive for players now because it's added buildings. Some people like it's just how people play, and I think with it in a bigger map, you don't get as much action as I feel like the game once had in the older map. I feel like it's less fight.
Definitely.
So, yeah.
The map is definitely too big. There's too much of the map for only 60 players and not enough fighting. There's a lot more time in between fights now. Yeah. And on one hand, after you finish a fight, you're not getting jumped on by another squad immediately every time like in the last map, but it's still too long. Like the game can really drag between fights, and that definitely is a problem.
Right.
Another thing I dislike is the lava area. I feel like no one goes there. I feel like it's an area with a lot of loot, but I feel like no one goes there, mostly because of the added hazard. Every time I don't land there and I run past there, it's completely unchecked, and I think it's supposed to be one of the bigger areas. Definitely, I think they should do something with that.
Well, see, and like in my experience, I feel like it's almost like the opposite. Like I feel like there's usually a team that lands there, that runs, that scavenges stuff. That's my experience. So I mean, very 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 rarely have I personally went there and like have been able to find loot. That's me.
I find that it's super unchecked, especially a lot of my times. But yeah, all right.
But then again, you're at a lower elo, so that's understandable. So.
Wow. Gold players, man.
So, Platt, by the way. So weapons and attachments. So, the one thing I dislike is the charge rifle, bro. Like, I cannot. It is the charge rifle. It is the charge rifle, and like, it's still the R99 to a certain extent, like meta right now. Like, everybody picks up a charge rifle. They throw on a sniper scope and they pick it up, and just everyone is just beaming people. And like, the issue that I have with it is that it's so good long range, and not just in the sense that the projectile isn't hard to hit it within itself, but the fact that it does so much damage. Like on when you have, I don't have the exact numbers, and I'm not gonna take the time to look it up, but roughly speaking, when you have white armor, like it cracks you, like immediately it cracks you, and I think it even does some health damage to you. So like, and that's with, of course, the charge and then the actual full charge shot. So I have an issue because, like I said, everyone uses it. It's just such an annoying weapon that just does so much damage to you, and I don't know. That's me. I feel like
That's your only dislike of weapons? Just the charge rifle?
as far as the changes, yeah, I would say so. As far as changes, I mean, yes, the shotgun changes, I think should be buffed a little bit, but I'm not necessarily fully disappointed with the shotgun changes. So I mean, I guess I dislike the fact that it's still somewhat inconsistent. So I guess I can say that.
I have a lot about the weapon changes, man.
And then real quick for me, the last thing I'll note is the scout with the double tap thing. I feel like it's a little bit lackluster. I was hoping it would have a little bit more oomph to it. You know, like I don't know. I don't really feel like it does. And I say that because it's a double tap, so you have to lead both your shots. So it's a little weird doing that with the scout, with bullet travel, and with the way that the gun has been developed as far as for mid to long range. You know, it's still a sniper, right? And so you're having to lead both shots, which is already hard within itself to lead one with just with like a longbow. You know, I don't. That's my opinion though.
Man, for weapon changes I dislike, I'm gonna go straight out and say it. Removing the skull piercer and buffing the headshot. That's one that I hated. I like the longbow and the wingman both with the skull piercer. The longbow got nerfed again. Besides just taking away the skull piercer, I don't think it got enough love. The wingman, it's just not the same without the head bussa, you know? Like,
Yeah.
it's different. It's not the same, man. If you don't have that power, I feel like headshots are not super easy to get in a game with a lot of movement like this. And I think, you know, that sort of thing removes some of the skill in it, so I definitely don't like that change. That's the big change that I really dislike.
Okay.
Besides that, I'm not really super again, I do agree with you, the double tap on the I don't like the double tap on either weapon, actually. I don't think it's really good on the EVA 8. I would prefer the EVA 8 without the double tap, the full auto, you know, because if you miss, the EVA 8's one strength is if you miss a shot, you have that second shot loaded up. The double tap adds more time in between each of your shots, and that's a little bit more risky to me. At that point, I would rather just use the Peacekeeper. The Mozambique, just take it out of the game. You can't, no matter what shotgun reticle changes, you're not helping it.
Yeah.
And it's not really a change, but I don't like that they didn't change the triple take. I think that weapon's super underrated and still very strong. But besides that, those are my main dislikes.
Okay.
As far as weapons, I'm pretty much cool with everything. Like I said, the skull piercer, I don't think they should have took that out because, like he said, the game itself is meant for like to be very mobile. Like with the slide and the robot grapple, it's like you never really sit still to get like headshots. So I feel like skull piercer was a good, like, I guess you could say it was a good just like accomplishment for someone who can actually aim, and if they was able to hit you in the head as you're moving or whatnot.
Right.
I think it like rewarded good players if they was able to get headshots. I think it was good. But we're gonna talk about the alternator. Alternator is hot, boom, boom. It's trash. To be honest with you, I don't like it. It's useless. I can't use it.
I mean, I smack with it. You know what I mean? Like, the gun is good at mid range specifically. It sucks at close range. It sucks at long range. And like, the R99, for example, 9 times out of 10 will beat it short to mid range. You have
Oh,
to
yeah,
you
No,
have
you mean 10 times out of 10. If you're losing with an R99 to an alternator at close range, your aim is like there's no excuse for you, man. Unless they have better armor, your aim is just butt.
it's like the biggest thing I really disliked about the whole alternator changes was the disruptor round. With the disruptor rounds for players like Ray, Lifeline, Robot who take 5% more damage, I
Mhm.
can understand. Like, of course, disruptor rounds are gonna just melt those people.
Mhm.
But with the changes with Gibraltar,
Jibby.
Gibby, Big Boy, Samoa Joe, whatever you want to call it. I'm gonna just say him specifically. I think Caustic is fine because Caustic doesn't have as much as Gibraltar, but the fact that Gibraltar now you can't really melt him the way like I feel like you should be able to without the disruptor rounds is really disturbing to me. The fact that Gibraltar can eat shots through his gun shield, eat
Mhm.
shots with the regular dome shield. The fact that if you do get him low, he just put the dome shield down and then heal back all the way up like a lifeline passive. That's a little much.
Yeah, I
I
I,
feel
I,
like
I agree.
We're going into hero changes here, so we
Yeah.
might as well.
Yeah, no,
yeah, so
I 100% agree. I think Jibby needs to be nerfed in the sense that he's not necessarily overpowered quite yet. I think he's strong, but I don't think he's overpowered because the map is so big. So he suffers from having to constantly move. He's not like Watson where he can set up defenses and do that type of thing. He's more of just a one man tank, right? And then obviously, like you said, there are situations where he throws on a shield and then his whole team heals up. So again, I think that he's a very strong character in those situations, but I think as far as like higher like pro play, he's a very niche pick. Um,
mhm.
but I think that I think that his gun shield and or his damage reduction needs to be nerfed because of how much utility he has as a character. Like
Yeah,
I think it's ridiculous how much he has.
I
yeah,
definitely think they put too much into his kit, man. His ulti is like it's actually useful comparative to Bangalore's. I mean, his shield was already good. It was already a
Right.
great ability,
Yeah.
and then they made it better. And then his passive, gun shield, it's nuts. 70. If you're fighting him, if you face to face him, and he has
Hmm.
gun shield and armor, I mean, you're probably not gonna miss any of your shots. But if he has good aim too, it's like, what are you doing? Like
Right.
no matter what armor type he has, his gun shield makes it so that he has a better armor, like more
Yeah.
armor. So that I think they should definitely tone down the gun. The gun shield is the most annoying thing to me. I definitely think they should tone that down.
Yeah. I don't. I think that the hammer point or the disruptor rounds was a good change, but I think that they I say it's a good change, or I should say it's a good step in the right direction, right? Like as long as they follow up with the Jibby changes, I think it's good, or perfect in my opinion. But I don't think that they should have a specific hop up just for one character in the game. Like
yeah. I agree.
that's my issue with it. Like overall, because
Yeah.
then like you said, you have not only do you have all the different squishies, having to deal with this, having to try to play around a particular hop up that was built for a different character, but then that also affects the other characters too. It's just a ripple effect. And I
Yeah,
just don't
Yeah.
think I don't think that one character should have that much say in a game to have its own hop up created just to counter him. I think
yeah.
that's stupid. So, but that's my
Also,
opinion. So,
also
another.
the rope. Yeah, yeah, you
Go
go, you
ahead.
go.
All
All right,
right.
so the robot. All right, the robot. I think I'm glad that they nerfed him, but I still think his ulti should take a bigger hit.
okay.
I still
Well,
think
and
it's
and, and
really
this
good.
this is where we're going to propose changes because we might as well since we're talking about it.
Right.
So we said Jibby changes. That was an automatic. Now you're going into so continue with your thought here.
Right, robot. They nerfed the projectile speed on his zip line,
Mm-hmm.
but I still think it's up every 12 seconds, which is pretty good for such a great ability. And then his ulti still has a low cooldown. He can ult everywhere on the map.
Yeah.
I think they should definitely do something with that. In a game where mobility dominates, he's so good at getting him and his team places. I think
Mhm.
they should definitely touch that a little bit more to bring him in line with some of the mortal characters for
Yeah.
sure. Definitely
I-
his cooldowns.
I
Is what
think
I would target.
I think he's not as strong because he doesn't have as many places like as you mentioned where he can get his team up in particular and just kind of sit and no one else can reach him. I think that's one thing that this map has done well. But I think second point or B is that it's such an open map that he doesn't he can't get people from point A to point B so much faster in the sense that like for example, going from Market over to Skulltown, you have that big rock wall, right? Like you can simply just throw a zip line up onto the rock wall, and then you can jump from rock wall potentially up to Bone somehow. You know, like there's just different. There's a lot of shortcuts in the first map that this map doesn't have. You really have to cover the entire distance and not just kind of make a shortcut over the wall here or over the wall or whatever the case is. So I think he's been nerfed in that way, and therefore he's been somewhat brought in line because of that. But again, I agree with what you're saying. So
I would like Crypto the new champion. Ooh. Crypto, I haven't played him as much. I'll say that right off the bat. But what I've seen and like what I've seen from pro players or big streamers and stuff, him being a tracker I'm totally fine with him being a tracker. I don't have no issues with that. The issues I have with it is the fact that when he uses the drone as one like his like primary ability, uses the drone, he's stationary.
Yep.
What I noticed with the drone is when you're in the drone, you only hear the audio from the drone. You don't hear the audio of like him where he is. So like let's say you're in a building and you use the drone to go do your job, scout to see if there's enemies around. In that process, a team can come in a building and just kill you. You can't hear the footsteps because you had a drone audio that whole time. Another thing that I dislike about Crypto is the EMP, the ulti. I feel like it's so many ways to just finesse the ulti. You can either take off your armor. If you're Wraith, you can just phase. I guess, and the EMP itself, you can't
shoot the drone.
Yeah, you can shoot the drone, and the EMP itself, you can't really use it like usefully. And by that I mean like, let's say you're in a big fight. If you can use it as like if it's on his back and you just use it, I think that'd be perfect. You can EMP right over him, and you can get them all low and slump. I think that'd be good. But the fact that you have to do the whole animation, throw out the drone, EMP them, like let's say you're in a building, they're in a building next door. You take out the drone, EMP them, you put it in a building, EMP. Now you have to just get out the drone, do the whole animation. By the time you get over there, I feel like they're healed. It's like the EMP doesn't really like it does. It's good, but it's not.
So what would you change about it to make it better?
I just think he should be able to EMP when it's on his back.
Well, here's the issue right now with that thought is that if he EMPs, he slows and he also damages himself. That's the thing. If he's within the EMP, then that's an issue. I mean, for him, right? And I think for his teammates, he slows them too, right?
Yeah, he slows his teammates. But I think that might be an okay risk to take. But what I would change is definitely his ability. He should be able to throw the drone out, however far they want to make it, whatever. He should be able to throw the drone out and not be forced to go into the drone's loading screen. And if he just throw the drone out, then even if he doesn't even have his EMP, you throw that drone out, then they're worried, oh man, he might EMP us. So then they're going to defer to the drone and you can reposition or shoot at them while they're trying to do that. I think if he could just throw the drone out without being forced to go into the drone, then he would be in a much better spot too.
Yeah, so just make the animation quicker.
Okay.
Just take out the animation. Just let him throw the drone without controlling.
Yeah. Well, and I think the issue that I've experienced myself is that if you're in drone mode, right, and you take damage, you don't know you're taking damage. You have no idea you're taking damage, and so that's my issue. Is like if just realistically, right, if someone's controlling a drone and they get their arm blown off,
they're gonna know.
They're gonna know, bro. Like they're gonna know, man.
Even if they're controlling the drone, they're gonna hear the footsteps around them too. They're gonna hear someone running up. They're gonna hear gunshots still.
Bruh, like I don't understand, bro. Like take them to Burger King, man. Do your thing. I
might have to.
a way they could probably fix that is, at least if they want you to, if they don't even want that, and think it should at least get indication like it's danger around, or like just something, so you at least know that people just came in that area, or just something. It's like,
Not even. I just my biggest thing is the damage thing. Like, you should know, the character should know when he's taking damage. Period.
Right.
Like
Your
that's
screen should be flashing or
yes,
something.
that
You should,
something.
there's no reason why that should be a thing. That makes the drone so much more worse. On top of the fact that you have to somehow reliably control your drone, EMP, not have it get shot down before the EMP goes off. Like, there's so much that I think they need to change about the drone skill overall. Like, I don't. That's my issue with it. And then so just real quick, because we're 5 minutes over now. So we talked about Nerf and Jibby. We talked about robot changes. Jermaine already talked about the Mozambique buff he wants. He wants Skull Piercer re-added some way, shape, or form. I talked about adding players to the current map. We talked about Crypto and him, somehow getting his ability buffed in a lot of respects. I think, real quick, let's take 10 seconds to talk about this. I think the old map should be brought back in some way, shape, or form, whether it's in the same playlist and rotated and voted on, or like each during the startup of each map, or it's brought back in a separate playlist. What do y'all think, real quick?
I agree.
I don't know about the playlist thing, but yeah, they definitely do need to reintroduce the old map for nostalgia. I think the old map is better overall, more fun, at least more fun to play.
Well, so, it's more polished. It's more polished. I mean, they spent 2-3 seasons going over that map entirely and have reworked it to almost perfection as far as how the game plays. So
yeah, they should definitely bring the map back.
Also
another thing.
Yeah.
In terms of map changes, they could change the way the storm works, because the whole point of the storm is to force players together and fight. So instead of I'm not gonna say they should make it come faster, but if they are gonna make the storm push you in faster, it'll make it so that you find fights quicker on the bigger map. They should make it do less damage if they're gonna make it go faster. That way you don't feel like, all right, I've been in the game for 10 minutes and I haven't seen another player. So that's something they could do to change.
Or they could just add more players.
Yeah, like I said, me and Jermaine, we were talking about this a couple of days ago, how traditionally in battle royales, never a 3, like you never get to have a squad of 3. It's like it's like a weird number.
If they add that 4th player to every squad,
I feel like is more
that might help.
Yeah.
All right, and then last thing I want to talk about quick for proposed changes. I think Bangalore and Mirage need reworks. I don't like their kits. I think that Mirage is his ultimate is pretty good. I think his Q is extremely lackluster. I think that's absolutely stupid, and I don't even know why it's a placeholder as far as I'm concerned. And what is his passive? What is his passive?
His passive doesn't do anything either.
Exactly. So
those 2 abilities definitely need something, because
yes.
He's like, you're playing a character with no abilities, basically.
Right, and after all the time he's tried to pronounce bamboozle him, he's still stuttering 3 seasons later, bro. Like, come on, bro. And then Bangalore.
Go Banzai.
Right. Bangalore. The character counters itself. Like it counteracts what the character wants to do, right? Like laying down smoke, okay, but then now you and your teammates can't see. Jermaine knows that you and your teammates can't see.
I can't disagree with this. That's my favorite character.
I like her passive. I think her passive is great. I think they should buff it a little bit, but I think that her smoke.
Sure about that.
Yes, I think it should be buffed like 5%. That's my opinion. I think
it used to be stronger, like in season 0. So
yeah, I think like a 5% buff is fine. Because right now I don't think the character is great. I don't think the character is really that good. Yeah, you got the ultimate buff, but it's a defensive ult. Like I mean, y'all.
I think they should change your ult.
It takes too long.
Yeah, like I mean, even if they changed her ult, like I think I'd be fine with that. I just don't think the character has like a first of all, a strong overall like kit that synergizes with itself, and I don't think that. I mean, I guess it kind of is, right? I mean, overall it is kind of defensive. She has defensive abilities overall, so I guess one could argue that, right? Like you have the ability to run away when you get shot at, you have the smoke to get away and cover yourself, and you have also that lays down more cover. But I don't know. I find the character lackluster, and I find it very hard to try to synergize with the character being a teammate. It's just
Oh, man. As the Bangalore main, if I were gonna change her, I wouldn't buff her movement speed of her passive. I would buff the duration in which you can run, get the speed boost. That's what I would change, and definitely something with her ulti. I like that my teammates can't see with the smoke. I like that I lower their damage numbers. That's good. Keep that in. But yeah, I would definitely change her passive, make it so she runs fast longer when she's getting shot at. So
right.
that's what I would change,
Okay.
and definitely something with her ulti. Her ulti needs it.
Yeah.
The last thing I would say is a thing that I will never understand that I really think they should change is how with Bloodhound, when he scans, the scan ability is fine. When he ults and you get hit with caustic gas, it like totally like negates the ulti. You can't see anything. It's like the gas itself literally just cancels your whole ulti. So I feel like if they don't want to make him see through the smoke, even though he should technically be able, since he, you feel me, that
Shouldn't hinder his vision. Yeah,
that's what he
that's
does.
his whole shtick, right?
At least let him see like the caustic at least. Like let him see something through the ulti.
Right.
There's
I
been
think
plenty of times, yeah.
I think if he gets hit by the ulti or just the top or the poison fumes, whatever, I think that's fine. Just because,
Yeah.
like, I mean, if you think about it, like anyone a dog, for example, who is trying, he's sniffing around someone, and all of a sudden pepper gets up his nose. You know what I mean? Like slaves did back in the day. You know what I mean? Like their senses are gonna be thrown off. So I think like thinking about it that way, I think it's fine. But yeah, I think that if he cannot see through the gas, I think, as you said, I think that's an issue as well. I don't see why he shouldn't be able to see through.
Right.
You know?
You don't even have to see like the people, at least the footsteps, at least something.
Right. Because if we're being technical here, he can see through the Bangalore smoke, which again, anyone who
it's smoke.
right
Vision?
is right
Come on.
vision and if they're trying to go about it like, okay, the toxic or the poison somehow seeps into his nostrils and he can't breathe anymore. Okay, well then take that same logic and apply it to the smoke. He can't see through smoke anymore then. Like if someone's trying to breathe, you can't breathe in smoke and live. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, there should be some sort of consistency.
right.
Yeah.
And I don't like how his ulti cooldown is that long. I think the ulti is the reason you play Bloodhound. Also, the field of view and the VFX, they definitely need that.
Yeah.
With
Well,
that
that
character, too.
I think more so when you scan, I don't think it should say hostiles detected when there's traps around. That's
I agree.
That's-
Yeah, that's misleading.
that
You
is
get
very
real
misleading.
scared.
They should have two.
And there's a launch pad near you. Like, come on. Like,
They
you can
should
get
have two
scared about.
Right. I appreciate y'all coming, whoever came to see this video, watch it through all the way. Again, this is my boy D'Angelo here. Yikes. And this is Jermaine over here.
Dude.
And we plan on doing these weekly discussions. Next week we'll be talking about Fairy Gone. We'll do an anime discussion on that. We'll be alternating between anime every other week and then some sort of video game related content discussion the next week. So anyways, if y'all enjoyed it, hit the like button. You already know. Hit the subscribe, bro. I'm gonna link D'Angelo's channel below in the description if y'all want to check out his.
I need help, please.
Jermaine's too poor to actually own a YouTube channel. It's free. And I will talk to y'all later. Peace.
All right.